It's gonna get real ugly.
You're listening to PHP Ugly episode 156, the show that is supposed to have a new opening sometime eventually soon, I've been told. I'm your host, John Congdon. With me, Eric Van Johnson.
Hello, my friends.
And Tom Rideout.
Hello, glad to be here.
Hey, your mic is working a lot better now.
Yes, it
We're so
took some
happy.
effort.
Starting 15 minutes late because of mic issues. Oh, and the ever fun Windows update.
Yes.
I think that's one thing I don't miss about Windows is that forced update.
And I'm already lagging out. I don't know what's going on with my system. Every time we start the show, I lag out.
You are lagging bad, but that's fun. I just won't watch the screen.
Yeah, don't look at me. Don't look at me.
I try not to.
You only lag
So-
out in the little dashboard, the OBS dashboard I see. Skype is not laggy though.
Yeah, but the stream is. I've gone back and watched the stream, and I'm completely lagged out on the stream. I also noticed that our active speaker scene, this one right here, is like super low on volume. Like when we switch over to this, if you're watching the stream, the volume goes way down. I'm not sure why that is because on OBS we have it turned all the way up. So not sure how I feel about that right now.
Note to self: don't use that scene.
It's a convenient thing to have. How's everybody doing?
Hey, I was running the show. How's everyone doing? All right, let's not start with Thomas. He wants to bring.
I'll say, starts out with, I tell you what, it is fun and challenging to try to understand clients' visions. I'm just gonna leave it there. It's
Not. Yeah, I'll stop too.
it's an art form. I'll just say
Well-
it's an art form to be able to take a client's vision and mold it into code that they appreciate. And we're just feeling some of the ups and downs of that journey with some of our projects.
Talking to clients can be hard. I think that's the hardest part is taking what they want to do and turning it into what they want.
Especially when they're not completely clear on what they want. Like they have an idea, they know they want something different, but they can't articulate what
Right.
different
Well,
is.
when you listen to them and it's like, that sounds really awesome. I need more details. And then they're not able to give you all the details. And then you get on a meeting with our developers, that person, and then their team, and then their team doesn't fully understand or agree on the direction. It makes it way harder for us. So it's like, can you guys figure it out first and then bring us in? It's like, we want to implement what you want, but we can't when you don't agree on what you want.
Yeah, that's pretty much how my week's been going. Just a lot of just kind of figuring out. We're pretty deep into this greenfield app that client had us build, and there's a lot of very particular things that they want done, and we're just trying to make sure we're able to do all those things for them. And John gave me some of the best advice this week. I called him earlier this week and just told him, I'm like, listen, I don't know what to do here. I don't know how to convey to them the message of we understand it, we're going to get it done. And John even said to me, one of Marcus, one of the developers we have working on this project, a while back came up with the idea of implementing BHAT. What are they called? Scene scenarios? I forget what BHAT calls them.
Scenarios or features.
Features, yeah. And so what we've been doing is they've been putting together these scenarios, which, if you understand BHAT, is almost plain English. Like it's very easy for a non-developer to read and say, yeah, that makes sense. That's what we're trying to do. So he started implementing these BHAT scenarios, and John said to me, get the requirements, tell them to, write an event for it, because we've been doing this event sauce approach with them where they
Event
create,
source.
event storm is what we've been calling it with them, where they create these events, and then Marcus has been translating it into a BHAT scene scenario, and they've been signing off on it. And basically, that's what John said. He's like, stop stressing over it. Tell them to give you an event, have Marcus create a scenario for it, and have them sign off on it. Like, that's perfect. I love that idea. So we've really have been using these testing not only for the code, but for kind of a agreed upon scope of what it is, the functionality that they're looking for out of this application. And it seems to be working good. I mean, there's still a little bit, we feel like there's still a little bit of a breakdown on our client side as who's communicating what to who, but ultimately, to John's point, we have a list of all these BHAT tests now that they've given their blessing on and said, okay, these are all the scenarios that we're trying to address for this stage of the application.
Yeah. I always feel bad because Eric is the one that mainly deals with the client. And when he has a really rough meeting or, comes out of it just kind of frazzled, and then he has to bring me in on it, and then we just kind of calm things down. I feel bad, but I also like being that person, like kind of a buffer, I see what you're saying. I think I'm more of a kiss ass. That's the problem.
I wouldn't say that.
I would totally say it.
It's like I want to keep the customer happy, and I know the right things to say to do that.
Yeah.
So that's my role.
That's why John and I are different, because I'm like, screw their money. We don't need their money. We'll make our own product. John's like, no, we need their money. We very much need their money. Oh man! But besides that, you know what? I've been focusing focusing as much as I can focus on serverless. I've been iterating through our API endpoints, and had a talk with our mobile developer today, and basically made the decision of, hey, this serverless implementation, not only is it working, but is performing better. And I'm still on the phase where it's a full-blown Laravel application. I'm not even using serverless the way it's supposed to be used, where I'm just writing functions that it's using. I have a full-blown Laravel application out there, not even Lumen, which it occurred to me would probably buy me some performance as well if I had converted it over to Lumen. But irregardless, this Laravel application is out there running, and it's running better on the serverless architecture than the EC2 instance. Once it's spun up. So again, if you understand serverless, the initial hit, if there hasn't been a hit to it in a long time, everything shuts down. The initial hit spins everything up, so there is a spin up time. But once it's spun up, as long as the application is being used, the response times are very fast, and very happy with it. I'm using the Lambda services on AWS as well as DynaDB. So I'm not even using a relational database. There is a database component to this, a very small database component, and I'm just using DynaDB for it. And there was a Laravel DynaDB. Was it Laravel specific? Yeah, package. Yeah, I think there was a package specific for Laravel, and I implemented that. Yeah, absolutely. It was specific for Laravel because it just tied right into the models in Eloquent. So the way I interact with the DynaDB I use the same Eloquent commands I would use for MySQL, and it's working wonderfully. I'm very happy with it. I still want to get to the point where, maybe I am stripping out the framework and doing either vanilla PHP or maybe even leveraging another language. But for the most part, we're very happy with what we're seeing.
Awesome. I can't wait to learn more about that and take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to the PHP Art podcast and enjoyed the serverless stuff. I need to listen to the second one.
Not to stop the conversation too abruptly. PHP Arch, just like March. PHP Arch. We've been corrected on that numerous. No arc. Arch.
Either architect, PHP architect, or it's PHP Arch.
Right. Arc.
Arch.
I don't hear the difference. Keep going.
Yes. I'm sorry, Oscar. Oscar, give us the word. Tom is off the show for a bit.
Oh, come on.
Still kick him off the show. Honestly, we'll probably just kick him off, and if we hear from Oscar, we'll put you back on. How's that?
Preemptive.
That's the norm.
Oh my.
But yes, I'm enjoying. I'm not sure of the cost benefits yet. Obviously we haven't been running it that long. I'm kind of curious what that looks like, but I'm actually getting very comfortable with the idea of just spinning up Laravel apps and deploying them to Lambda at this point. These small little services. I'm not having an issue with it.
Awesome. Have either of you guys done? I'm moving on, by the way. Have you guys worked with CSRF much?
Yeah.
And do you have a lot of issues around the implementation?
Implementation of blocking CSRF?
Yeah.
No, it's pretty easy.
I know it's easy, but I've been in CSRF hell for the past week. I was in jQuery hell before that, and then last week started down CSRF hell. And
is this in Laravel?
No.
No, because when you use a framework, you don't have to worry about.
Right, you don't have to worry in the slightest bit.
Just putting that out there. Yeah,
it just does it for you.
Oh, I understand it does it. Okay, stop. Both of
framework. Just check that one for the.
Out of curiosity, I haven't looked at Laravel CSRF code. Do they generate a token per page, or do they generate a token per session?
Per page.
No.
Per submit.
Per request, yeah.
No, per submit, I believe.
What's the difference?
Oh no, I guess that isn't it either.
It's per request.
I'd have to look into that. I believe every time you request a CSRF token, it generates a new one. And that form is
every time a form is generated.
Yeah.
You have to put it in there.
Right. Well,
okay.
Sometimes you can actually put a CSRF token in the headers, so you can have a CSRF cookie, which I believe Laravel supports as well now. So it's just every page view gets a different CSRF cookie.
So my issue, because I've implemented this 3 different ways over the past 2 years, and we finally put it into production yesterday, or it's been in production in a monitoring mode, so we could see how many requests would be blocked because of the CSRF tokens. And when we first did it, it was just astronomical. Like, no, this won't work. And
I know that Laravel's version is very, very flexible.
Yeah, but he's not using Laravel. So.
Yeah, we'll ignore that for now. I'm just going to explain my issues. And so I was trying per page, and I was trying to store that so that it would remember on the different pages what your token was at that time. So when you submitted the form, it would be used. And then I scrapped that and I went with a session base. So you get a CSRF token when you start a session, and that's the one that gets used. The reason being, I see lots of users opening multiple tabs or windows and having issues submitting forms. It got so bad with trying to figure out why this was breaking that I prepended the session ID with the token to try and figure out what the hell was going on. And came in the next day after implementing it and saw what requests were being blocked, people would leave their windows open all night, use another window to log in, and then submit a form on that first window. So that the token was out
No.
of date. Yeah. That's the only explanation, because their token didn't have the session ID prepended to it. So my assumption is
Oh.
users leave multiple windows open to whatever their workflow is, and they're submitting forms on multiple tabs, multiple windows. And it was a nightmare. And I mean, I finally got probably 95% of it cleaned up, and the ones that have been left are the ones that seem to be working this way, where it's just being left open, session is expiring, or being left open all night, again, session expiring. Such a pain.
Yeah, I mean, for me,
Well, let me ask you this. Do you know when you are blocking a page because of a CSRF token mismatch?
uh, the only place we worry about that is in the administrative section. We don't really have user input anywhere else on our site.
Oh, well, that's nice.
So as the admin, I see all the time where a CSRF token gets lost, or I've let my session time out, and when I hit submit on the form, it works. Now, I think Laravel uses some kind of persistent CSRF token, so that even if you lose your session, if you log in on a different tab, that token is still valid.
Well, you're also using cookie-based sessions, so that's a little more doable.
I'd have to look further into how Laravel does it, because I've seen it be more flexible than not. Getting CSRF errors is pretty uncommon for me, even when I sort of intentionally screw with the system.
Yeah. I put it into basically a monitor mode, because every time there is a mismatch, I'm logging it, and we just commented out the error page, basically. So up until at some point in the past couple of days, I was just watching the logs, and it was just, constantly getting hit. But finally had to turn it on because we need to pass some security tests for Salesforce.
But how did
Yeah.
the jQuery upgrade go? Did you get it finished?
No, I mean, we asked for I forget, some sort of extension on it, because we've proven that we are actively working on it. So got all those various versions up to 112, and that's live, and have the 3.4 version on a beta server and waiting for their QA team to go through it, make sure the site at least functions on what is currently covered in the QA test plan, and then deal with failures after that. Again, monitor for those failures and try to react to them proactively then instead of reactively.
Mhm.
Which the jQuery migrate plugin needs to have some sort of alerting system built into it, because I'm not loading it from a CDN. I basically downloaded it and just patched it or hacked it, or however you want to look at it, right where they do their console log, and I'm alerting Bugsnag, so I have a central place to go look for these errors. That way I can put it in production and, where it's not supposed to be used, and get, real world usage of the site, and get that data pumped back to me pretty easily. Yep.
What you been working on, Thomas?
Well, after our discussion the other day, I started playing with Dependabot.
Dependabot.
We had a lot of questions about, what does it do when you have it generate PRs for you? So I went in and had it generate PRs for me. I had multiple issues that were considered medium and high security, and I went in and enabled automatic security fixes, and within a few minutes, it had sent me 2 pull requests that I just had to click accept on, and it was done. But the nice thing about it was you get a compatibility check in your pull request. So it says this version is 98% compatible with the previous version, the version that you have.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you also get a severity warning. So when it says I'm patching, this pull request was issued because of a high severity issue or a medium severity or low severity issue. So it updated my Axios from 0.18.0 to 0.18.1. Told me, hey, this is a high severity fix and you need to push it out now. It's 98% compatible with the previous version of Axios, and here's all the changes. Here's the commit log. Here's the release notes. So it really gives you everything you would need in one page to just say, okay, I approve that. It's good to go. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was really pleased with that.
And it's all for free. That's what's awesome about it.
Yeah.
So are you?
I did
are
notice
you-
it says Git Dependabot preview, so I wonder if they're gonna start charging for it.
I did not see that.
Where do you see that?
At least when I log in, I look at installed GitHub apps. I see Dependabot preview.
Good.
Again, I've never gotten it where it's giving me a PR, so I must still have it set up wrong.
Yeah, like I said, we talked about it last week. I felt like when I first set it up, it was automatically doing my repos, but then I noticed after we were talking last week, I noticed I hadn't gotten a PR from it in a while, and I saw that you then had to enable the auto PR generation. So I don't know if that's a change they made or what happened there, but yeah, so you don't ever log into a repo, John, and get that little warning message that says, "Hey, you have out of date dependencies."
I haven't seen that now.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder if you don't.
Maybe they're just so out of date that GitHub doesn't know what to do about it.
It's just giving up on them. It's like, forget this guy. Forget him.
That's funny.
I'm following some drama with the approval of a new RFC for PHP 7.4.
Oh, really? Which one is this?
Numeric literal separators.
Numeric literal stuff.
Yes. The idea here is that you cannot tell in a string what 100000000 is. You have to mentally parse it.
Right, because they don't allow commas, right?
Right.
We use commas.
So they're going to allow underscores.
Underscore.
The underscore gets stripped out at the lexing phase, so it never hits PHP whatsoever. And it's just for visual separation of numbers. And it was a 33-11 vote.
So it doesn't have any. Well, yeah. Remember, they have to have a super majority, right? So they have to have 2/3 vote. So it doesn't actually have any functional implementation. There's nothing functional about it. It's just for you to visually look at the number, say, okay, that's the number I have.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And
Okay.
to be clear here, that 2/3 vote, 33-11, is 1 vote off of getting denied.
Mm-hmm.
So I look at this and I just immediately hate it.
Why would you do it?
Wait. 33 to 11 is not 1 vote off. There's only
5 votes off. Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, you need 27 votes to pass. Anyway.
Whatever.
Whatever, John. It's just math. Gee.
Being accurate, sorry.
But one of the things that kills me about this is the discussion section that says, will it be harder to search for numbers if you're searching for a number in your system?
How did you use regex?
And it says, well, since the same value can be now written any number of ways, then it should theoretically make it harder to search for numbers. And his argument in the RFC is the same number can already be written in binary, octal, decimal, hexadecimal, or exponential notation. Therefore, this isn't actually a problem.
Well, and
my thought is, fuck you, guy.
I don't understand your comment either, Thomas. What do you mean it can be written a number of different ways? There's 2 ways. It's either the way you have it, the way it's written here, if you're watching the stream, or there's a underscore between these numbers here and here.
No, in code you can already write numbers in octal, decimal, hexadecimal.
Right, but no one does that unless they're using an octal.
Right. No, I agree.
That's a stupid argument.
I agree.
But my issue here is if I write the number 1000, that's to you, that's 1,000. But context is now important because that could be 1_000 to represent 1,000, or it could be 10_00 to represent cents. So that's 3 ways that I would normally expect the number 1,000 that I could search for it.
If you know regular expressions, you can search your code base easily enough, stripping the underscores. And how often are you searching your code base for numbers?
In my system, somewhat frequently.
All right,
okay.
I see these examples that you're kind of referring to here, Thomas.
But context is important anyway. I mean, I would know. I probably know the context that I'm searching in if I'm searching for a number. Now, if I'm writing it to be more readable, which I'm personally liking, because when I'm trying to look at timeouts that are written in milliseconds, that's a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
I don't disagree, but that's why I write my timeouts in milliseconds as 10 times 1,000.
Yeah. But there again, you're introducing another way to write a number that if I'm looking for 10-second timeouts, am I looking for 10 times 1,000 or 10,000?
Or are you just looking for the variable timeout?
Right. Exactly. So
I just don't. If you look at these examples, they get pretty nutty. They start applying them to IP addresses and astronomical units and cents versus dollars versus billions.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it's weird, and using underscores is weird too.
I agree with that. I don't understand underscores. I'm assuming, like you said, it's in the parser, so it's easier than using or figuring out how to do it with a comma. And I don't know. I like it only because of the readability aspect of it.
I guess C# uses underscores.
I'm the same way. I agree with you, John. I like the idea of just being able to look at it and say, okay, this is where the breaks are. Because I am always, this is exactly what I do. I see a number, if you're watching the stream, I see a number like this, I go 1, 2, 3, and I highlight 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
3. And I do that all the time.
I'm annoyed in there that they have credit card as an example. 4 numbers underscore 4 numbers. Who hard codes a credit card number in their code?
Well, that was their example of don't do this.
I hope so. I wasn't really watching or reading. Just watching Eric scroll around. Anyway,
So
we're spending way too much time on this.
well, but I just want some clarification. You said this did pass, Thomas?
It did pass. It's going to be in 7.4.
Awesome. And there's a 7.4. I thought that what happened to jumping directly to 8?
What?
No,
What
7.4 was always going to be there.
Yeah.
Oh, is 7.4 the last one then?
No.
No?
With
You
8,
sure?
they started the 8 fork on 7.3. So the 8 fork is in progress, and it will get patches for 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, whatever. It's just that the
Okay.
fork exists, so that's where they're doing the work on.
Oh, I just assumed that they were jumping to it.
No, not yet.
They're just preparing, I'm assuming taking the deprecated stuff out now and just being prepared.
Well, and they need a place to put the code that's ready for 8 that's not going to be in the 7 branch. The JIT stuff, I think, is going in 8 and 7.4.
You mean like
But it's going in a different way.
are supposed to work? Like the new feature, backwards breaking stuff?
What? No. We're not getting into that. We spent the whole episode on that last week.
No, we're happy about it. We're happy. We're very excited about the Laravel UK announcement. So, no, we're definitely not harping on that today. As a matter of fact, LaraCon US is coming up here in about a month. Yeah, it's right about a month now. The 24th through the 25th in July, and I am going to be in New York City. And not only is it coming up, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll notice that I posted a link today. The Sean, the guy who does LaraChat, and he does every year he does a new Telegram group for LaraCon US, and everybody kind of piles in there, and that's where they talk. And he started it a little early. I thought he started a little early this year, but he started that today, and it's already got like 16 people in there. And this is a perfect example of why I will never be accepted fully in the Laravel community. They start this chat about the conference in New York City that's still a month away, and they're already trying to organize a jog, a Laravel jog. Daniel from Texas, the Longhorn, one of the guys who runs the Longhorn PHP. Yeah, he's already trying to. He already has an Eventbrite thing out there for a Laravel jog. I'm like, see, this is why I don't like you guys. But no, just I know they did that the last time they were in New York. It was a big deal. Like it looked like a lot of people did it. I'm like, nope. I told him in chat today. I'm like, you're gonna have to have some pretty big dogs to chase me because it takes a lot to get me running. Trust me.
What if we put a racquetball racket in your hand with a blue ball and just said, "Go get it"?
Just have you run after the ball. Ah!
Yeah, the old carrot and stick.
I'll run backwards in front of you and like, come get it.
You just have to have the stick come over my head and just hang in front of me, and I'll just swing at the. That might work.
We'll do that since I won't be there.
You can just start reciting vegan recipes, and I'll chase you down trying to beat you.
Why? Why is that?
Stop trying to ruin food.
Stop trying to. Okay, I won't get into it. I enjoy having these conversations. So if you want to have a conversation with me, I'm more than willing. I've been talking with Eric a ton about it, but I won't do it on the air.
I got a new. I told you guys I got a new fitness watch, and I'm a little concerned because a lot of the time my resting heart rate is 90.
That's not good.
And I don't think that's good.
Maybe you should see a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's how you get sick. Right now, I just have like an inaccurate watch.
I don't actually have a heart condition. I just
Right.
watch out. I might need to return.
Yeah,
I have
I go to a doctor.
have-
I walk away with some sort of aortal fibrillation issue. That's
I
on
have
him.
that- I understand, Thomas. I have the exact same problem with scales. Every time I buy a scale, it's clearly not working. It even comes up with that ERR. It's like, what do you mean? This thing is broken. Not measuring me.
You guys are killing.
Yeah, I've been drinking about it because I found that lowers my heart rate pretty well.
According to Google, my resting heart rate is 53.
I don't even have my watch on, so I can't even do mine. Okay, I'll measure it.
Right now, mine's 100.
Mine's like 7. Is that right? That would probably be 7.
Eric's died on stream.
You open your phone, go to Google Fit, and it will tell you.
Oh, really? Well, I don't have my watch on, though. It doesn't.
No, it should be syncing, right?
I mean, my watch isn't even here. Well, tell me my previous day.
In Google
You should
Fit.
have a heart rate sensor on your phone too.
Well, right now is not a good time to get your resting heart rate. You've been talking to us.
That's true. He's very frustrated right now.
You guys don't frustrate me. Trust me.
I have a very clear frustration.
What is that?
ThinkGeek.com.
Gone.
Can you believe it? I even had that one queued up for you. You caught me off guard. Where'd that go? Boom.
I put it on next discussion points here.
Yeah.
This is the epitome of an idiotic move by a corporation.
I don't
GameStop
understand it either. Yeah.
GameStop, which at this point has lost 94% of its stock value since its peak in the late 90s, has decided that their failing brand is better off supported by killing a successful brand than by maintaining the successful brand and letting the dying brand go away.
Or do exactly
cannot-
what they're doing, but do it the other direction.
Right,
Exactly.
I cannot fathom what they are thinking, investing the opposite direction, killing a successful brand to bail out a dying brand. They've literally done the only thing they could do to kill both brands. It is.
I don't think it's that bad. I think people that want this stuff that Think Geek offers will find it on GameStop. It just doesn't make sense as a
The
brand.
thing about ThinkGeek was that you could find the stuff on Amazon, and it was 20% cheaper on Amazon. But people liked the ThinkGeek brand. They were willing to shop there because it collected everything in a place where they could just look it over every couple weeks and see something cool. But by rolling what they're doing, we didn't say what they're doing is they're closing the ThinkGeek online brand and they're moving everything into the ThinkGeek tab on the GameStop website.
Which I didn't realize GameStop had bought. And I don't want to brag, but you're looking at a ThinkGeek model right here. It's a modeling for ThinkGeek. I have that.
Okay, so that there might be multiple reasons they're closing the storefront. However,
we finally got to the bottom of it.
I cannot understand what person thinks that destroying a successful brand to crutch a failing brand is a good idea. And that number, by the way, is accurate. Since 1999, GameStop has lost 93% of its stock values, and since 2000, I believe, 8, it's lost 70% of its stock value.
Wow.
I mean,
That's crazy.
They are a store that specializes in selling and reselling games, which are now a vast majority a digital medium. So that it's a store that no longer has any reason to exist, and everyone already hated them. It really is. It really is.
You're gonna rant about this for a while, aren't you?
Absolutely, because now if you've gone into a GameStop physical store lately, it looks like it should be a Think Geek store because they've got thousands of the Funko Pops. They have very few games at GameStop. They have shot glasses with Mario characters and stuffed animals, and then some hardware, some like console hardware, but they're not keeping up with the times. They don't know what they're doing, and this is just a death blow for everything that made them revenue already. I just can't understand it.
Okay. Okay, Thomas.
Moving on.
Moving on. We're moving on to. Oh, you want to hear something weird? Oh man, this is weird, and I don't even know how to approach the conversation. I'm kind of stuck in this loop. It's like here I am. I think I'm just hanging out with my friends here. You know, it's just like the three of us having a conversation. Other people are listening. Found out, and one of those people I discovered is my wife. My wife says, "Oh yes, oh yeah." My wife started saying things to me. I'm like, "That's weird. How'd she know about that?" And come to find out, she's been catching up on the PHP Ugly podcast.
Oh no!
I'm like, what?
We need to find that one episode and scrub it from the records then.
No, she's listened to a few. I'm like, why do you listen to this? And like, how does this even keep you entertained? She was, I find you guys funny. Like, I just like listening to you guys talk. So yeah, that's been a topic of conversation in our house, and that was interesting to. It's like, you know, I've been going to the strip club with my buddies, and I found out my wife's been bussing tables. I'm like, wait, what? You've been here the whole time? Jesus.
That's terrible news.
I think it's awesome that she's taking an interest in doing that.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So, Thomas, speaking of my wife and the fact that she may be listening to us as we speak, how do you like in Colorado? Because my wife is looking for a new state to move to.
It's fantastic.
No, it's not. Yeah. Don't lie. Stop.
It is way too hot right now.
See? Ocean Beach. Perfect.
Hey, I'm with you, John. Well,
right near the water. Nice breeze.
Don't say too hot, Thomas, because where I thought it was out of the running, apparently Texas is now back in heavy in the running of consideration. So we've been looking at a lot of Texas property lately, Fort Worth, and even as south as Austin.
Ew.
Yeah. So Colorado, and it's all kind of the same landscape, kind of, you know, flat. Well, Colorado's got mountains, I guess, but I don't know, man. I'm with John. Just move me closer to the coast, and I'm good. But the wife, you know, she's looking to move. He's ready
I love it.
Yeah.
Then you can't be DiegoDev. Then it's Cosplay Dev.
Well, we told you one of our first interviews we went to as DiegoDev. One of the first questions I was asked was, "Okay, which one of you is Diego?"
All right, you can move here, but you'll have to change your name then.
No, we're not changing your name. Company name.
No, you have changed your name from Eric to Diego.
Yeah, Diego.
That's what his wife calls it that anyway.
Diego Van Johnson. Sounds like you should be in the Dora Explorer movie.
That's what I should name my dog. I should name my dog Diego. And then when you can actually be the mascot. Jeez. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm down. I'm down to move into another country. I want to move to Australia or somewhere.
Why not Hawaii?
Texas isn't hot enough.
Is Hawaii even in the running?
My brother just went to Hawaii.
I think Hawaii is an acceptable place to go. Yeah, you're still in the U.S. at least.
Can we talk about the PHP framework trends?
Sure.
Yes, because Eric moving is depressing me.
Let's talk about the PHP. I actually have that one queued up. PHP framework trends.
Can I say that this thing doesn't make sense?
What doesn't make sense? Were you surprised with the? Well, first thing, do you?
It's
That
clear.
inclusion as a dependency doesn't count.
Gotcha.
Right. And who knew Slim was still being used so much? Yes. I mean, I guess it's not, right? Because this is just the highs and lows of what they've been trending. So it's up 16%, but it's still the monthly average is nowhere compared to the rest of the framework.
But see, if you click on Symfony here,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll go down to how it broke down the packages. So it says, 200 million or something, but it's really counting each Symfony package, not the framework.
So
you'll-
just know there is a little space in there where the underscore would be, and that's 2 million, not 200 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe if it was underscores, that would have worked better for me.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There you go.
They say that their yearly total is 625 million right now.
Yeah.
But that's all the Symfony packages. That's not the Symfony framework.
And Symfony is all packages. Like,
Right. So if you go down to where it says framework bundle, that's 6 million total this year.
question for you. How do you have a negative 5 million yearly total downloads?
Where do you see that?
At the very bottom, the polyfill total trend last year, last month, total last year, negative 5 million.
I mean, that means 5 million people uploaded it back to the server.
It's like, here, I don't need this, take it back.
Yeah, that's 5 million database misses where it was deleted and then 5 million tried to download it, but it wasn't even there.
That's funny.
So
Yeah,
how's Doctrine considered a framework though? I always thought that was like a package.
it's a database framework, isn't it?
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I've actually been using that lately and liking it a lot. Okay, I say I'm using it. We're not using it in production yet. It's available. Been doing a lot of exercises so the team can get their heads around Doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
And
You dealing with annotations?
yeah,
Ugh.
whatever. Annotations are fine.
What are you liking about it, Joe?
Basically a lot of the things that you like in Eloquent, the collections, the relationships between entities, the separation of getting right now this code base is so database dependent, and there's no qualms about newing up objects everywhere or getting data out of the database. So you could have, many different objects requesting, let's just say, a user object, for example, the same user object, and you'll get 2 or 3 versions or, 2 or 3 objects that, you could update in one, but not the other. And now they're out of sync and you could mess up your data very easily. So the fact that the Doctrine Entity Manager takes care of all that for you, you get one version throughout your code, makes things a lot nicer. So it's a step in the right direction for this project.
And we talked about the annotations a little bit, but is it like the more you're working with it? So this is the thing with Eloquent. It's like the more I work. I mean, when I first started working with it, everything just made sense. Like, oh yeah, of course, that's how I would ask for that data. I mean, do you get that same feeling with Doctrine?
Yeah, the fact that you can ask for data via a relationship and it gets it automatically for you. One of the biggest issues right now is the decision 15 years ago was every table had an ID column based on table name underscore ID. So your user is user underscore ID. So now basically starting from scratch using Doctrine, we can now standardize and say, no, we're going to call it the ID field in the entity, and Doctrine knows enough to put that data in the user underscore ID column.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
things like that.
Yeah, we have I mean, as you know, you're very well aware of, John, we actually have a developer in DiegoDev who's just really big and and trying to, hint around to us deploying it. And because there are packages for it for Laravel. And, with so much of our team being very Laravel centric and very comfortable with Eloquent, it's like, no, you have to give us more of a reason than, hey, let's just do this.
He actually did this month's SDPHP presentation on Symfony, and probably at least 50%, if not 75% of his talk was all about Doctrine.
Really?
Yeah. It was like,
I can imagine that. A lot of the Laravel talk would be about Eloquent.
yeah, that's true. So anyway, that was my little aside about Doctrine. And I agree, this survey or whatever it is doesn't make sense, so we can move on from that.
It seems fundamentally flawed, but it does like to imply that Symfony is 10 times more popular than Laravel still.
Well, no. Well, did it really imply that?
Well, yearly total go from 81 million up to 625 million for Symfony, but again, they're looking at total of all those packages. When you start looking at the core, Symfony core, you're about 3 million. And I mean, what's Laravel's core?
Good question. Click on it. Yeah.
It should be like Illuminate Framework.
Well, that's for Eloquent.
No, Illuminate Framework would be for Laravel.
Here's one. This says framework right here. It says 22 million. So they actually have one for framework.
Yeah, so that would be Illuminate Framework or Laravel Framework or Illuminate Framework. I think Illuminate is the working name for unreleased branches.
I really think that's what Eloquent is. But whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, for framework it says 22 million for the year, and then for Symfony framework it says.
Oh, that was Security Core, not Symfony Core. I'm not a very good reader.
I know Symfony also has just Symfony down here. I wonder if that's the actual framework. Where did that go?
All the way near the bottom. Again, -7%. 9 million. I mean, that's a trend. So
yeah, from this,
makes sense there.
it's hard to tell what the hell is what from this.
All right, then let's move on.
Sorry, I brought it up.
Yep, thanks. Apology accepted.
So if you're in the PHP Ugly Discord, I dropped a little heads up that one of the contributors one of the regular contributors in the PHP Ugly Discord, Syntaxy, she's really started blogging a lot of good articles, and she just released another one this. I don't know when she released it. Oh, June 20th. There you go. June 20th on multiple apps on one server with mod rewrite. Which if you've been administrating the server for a while, you know about this. But I know there are a lot of developers out there that don't understand how this works. I'm a fan of her articles and her writing. I like when she publishes new stuff. So I don't have a lot to say about it. I just saw an opportunity to talk about it, and I figured I'd put it out there. If you're listening to this, it'll be in the show notes. There. Sherry, that'll be $6.50 to my Venmo account, please.
Just before we started recording, I saw something on Twitter. GitLab.com has dropped MySQL support.
What does that mean? So you talked about that, and I'm like, I don't understand what that means. What does that mean?
I don't know because I couldn't figure. I don't use GitLab currently, but I clicked on the link and found some other things interesting. I'm like, what the heck is this MR? And then all of a sudden hit me, oh, merge request. And then I saw it there on the left-hand side of the screen. So they're like, they had to be different. They couldn't call it a pull request. And merge request is probably more accurate anyway. But
I don't understand what this means.
interested. I was more interested in that they're switching. They only want to support Postgres because they want to use the Postgres advanced features. So I'm assuming if you install GitLab locally, which I believe it is downloadable, right? You don't have
Yes.
to use the hosted.
Oh, that's what they're referring to. I
Right.
see what you're saying. Yeah, so like an individual install. Yeah, I gotcha.
Right. So they're I know Postgres people are super like into their database and they tout how much more powerful Postgres is. But I want to know what the advanced features are that they want to use that are not currently available in MySQL.
I would be interested to find that out as well. Yeah.
Shitty, impossible to read syntax is one of them.
Yeah, that's why I would switch. So I found that I just thought it was interesting. Like that, just happened to see it, and uh, all the code still works on MySQL, but they are officially making it known that they aren't supporting it, so that they can start putting in Postgres only code.
That doesn't. I'm not using GitLabs now.
Good for them.
Oh, I wonder if one of the advanced features is a feature that would prevent them from like dropping a bunch of tables. Isn't that why they went down? Aren't they the ones that dropped a huge amount of their tables that they had to spend like a couple days recovering?
It sounds familiar. It's funny.
Instagram went down this week.
Don't care.
Yep.
Apparently something else went down this week as well. Maybe it was
Yeah, Google Calendar was down.
It
for a
was
bit.
Father's Day.
Google Calendar. That's what it was. Yeah, Google Calendar went down.
What about Father's Day? I missed it. Instagram went down. What? It was Father's Day. Was that your Father's Day present? Instagram not working?
Oh, that'd
I'm
be
trying to
nice.
follow. I missed what you meant.
So,
I'm so confused.
Google got caught stealing lyrics.
Lyrics?
Yeah, lyrics for songs.
No.
There's a website called Genius, and they decided to put interesting characters randomly in the lyrics to catch if somebody was scraping the site to steal their lyrics and post them on their site. And their lyrics, which in Morse code read red-handed, were found on Google's lyrics engine, Lyric Find. Or no, I'm sorry. Google's lyrics engine was getting a feed from Lyric Find that they say violated the terms of agreement. But the interesting part of the story to me is that the music lyrics themselves don't belong to genius.com. It's just the transcription work and the site that really makes them money. But when Google can just scrape a site and replace it, that's a huge threat to any company that wants to do information for free for people. Or information that's monetized via advertising and what have you. So it's an interesting legal situation now that Google has taken the work from genius.com, but not the content value itself because it belongs to the artist. So how can a company recoup on this?
I don't know. Oh, you asked me a question.
It's an open-ended question. It's open to. I wasn't just talking to you, Eric.
He might as well have been because I have no opinion.
All right,
know.
I was just throwing it out there in case someone did.
I don't know.
Okay, I guess I'll share with you guys. Check it out. Our YouTube channel. Well, not only have we hit 100 subscribers, we broke 100. We're at subscriber 101. That's right. Yeah, the money's that precious YouTube money's gonna be rolling in any minute now.
Do we have our videos monetized?
No, you need like 1,000 to monetize your video. So we're a tenth of the way there. It only took us 5 years to get here. So we're on target. We have a trajectory of up. That's the important thing here, Thomas.
Only 1,560 more episodes to go.
That's right. No, I mean, I thought that was actually kind of cool. I'm like, I logged on the other day. I'm like, what's wrong with YouTube? What's this 100 mean?
Something's broken.
Now, keep in mind, like 12 of them are accounts that I have, but that's beside the point. You know, this is YouTube.
We now know that one is your wife as well, so.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Do either of you guys know what Slack is worth?
$12.6 billion.
I hate companies' valuations because it never makes any sense.
Yeah, I don't get it.
$20 billion.
No shit, I was that close.
You were close.
20 billion. How can it be worth $20 billion? I mean, it doesn't do advertising or anything. So if you tell me it's worth $20 billion, then you're telling me they're making $20 billion a year.
That's not quite how it works.
Bullshit.
I hate valuations.
That's exactly how it works. Your worth is how much you make every year. I don't care about evaluation. Your worth, how much you're worth as a company, is how much you make the previous year.
So, do you guys know what a market cap is?
Not well enough to speak on it.
So, a market cap would be, at its current value, the sum of the total value of shares in a whole for a company. So if your share is $10 and you have 1,000 shares total, then you have $100,000 market cap. And from my understanding, a valuation like this would be the total shares that are held by the corporation.
Wouldn't that be $10,000? Sorry, I was just very confused on the numbers.
Yes.
You've got to use the underline.
The underscore gets me every time.
Gotcha. Okay.
So from what I understand about this valuation is that they're using the market cap to drum up interesting news articles. And they're saying that the market cap for Slack right now is 20 billion, but in reality, Slack's value should be the number of shares that they privately hold times the current value of the share.
Yeah, we've purchased companies and we've purchased into companies, and we have been given lessons on this. Well, you have to buy it for at least this much because this is our evaluation. I'm like, but you're not making that much money.
Yeah, it's a strange business.
I don't get it, but I do get our Patreon. And if you want to talk about evaluation, let's talk about the evaluation of our Patreons, because we're worth $1 billion.
Let's start with Frank, because I know him the best.
Well, I'm just saying, we must be worth like $1 billion because these people care enough to contribute to the show. And at some point, we're going to put that money to good use. Well, we did already. We sent out the gifts to everybody. I think we have actually another round of gifts coming up. I need to look at our Patreons and see who got a gift in the first round and who might be due for stuff. And Thomas, I'm going to hook you up this time, brother. I promise. I know, I totally forgot to send you. You still don't have your PHP Ugly lanyard. So
No, I do have a Wave PHP sticker though.
Well, there you go. It's almost as
It's
valuable.
almost as good.
It was a limited edition run, collector's item.
That's right.
Hold on to that. Might be worth something one day.
But yes, seriously, thanks to everybody who supports us on Patreon.
Yes,
Patreon. Thanks for everybody who subscribes to us on YouTube. Even though we don't get revenue from YouTube, we do appreciate it. Thanks to everybody who listens to the podcast and comes up and says something to us at conferences. I love that. I get that all the time. People come up and say, "Hey, I listen to you guys. Appreciate what you say." But thanks for being out there. And apparently, my wife likes listening to us as well. So she gets extra gifts. But that was wrong. We should cut that out. No.
Nope. I mean, you
Okay.
can.
I think this is a good spot to kind of wrap up this wonderful show. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
That sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
All
Good.
right. Well, that's it. Then that's going to do it for episode 156 of PHP Ugly. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congdon.
I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
You guys never do that on the right beat.
It's always on the right beat after you edit it.
Yeah, because I edit it to all be at once.
All right, I'm stopping local recording.
Did you guys look at the Zencaster tracks?
No. Why?
John's is 29-ish minutes.
Yeah, so we used it for the PHP podcast, and John had major drift on his. I don't know why. That's the first time it's ever. That's the first time.
This wasn't drift. I mean, he literally, his whole recording was half the length. Let me pull up the length here.
I'm
So,
gonna start breaking up because I'm starting Dropbox again.
Eric, yours was 48 minutes. Mine was an hour and 7 minutes. And John's was 28 minutes.
So it's got to be the gate,
Okay.
the noise gate. When I drop to like,
But I don't understand how that's possible. It's recording on this server side. Isn't it recording it?
yeah, but maybe if it senses absolutely no input, maybe it just stops.
And assumes the person went away or something.
That's cool.
I don't know what it is, but the numbers. I mean, it was totally useless.
Okay. Yeah, I struggled with it as well. I mean, we have to use it for the PHP Architect podcast because we're recording other people who don't necessarily have local recordings. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with, but I don't know. Yep. Did somebody create a folder?
I did, but I'm paused, so I'm gonna resume syncing now.
Yeah, you resume, and I'll wait
See,
for it.
Skype has some way of recording high quality after the fact.
Well, I mean, we all have local recording now, and yeah, Skype has recording as well, but I don't know. Our local
I believe the Skype recording is actually high quality local, so that you get the full quality even if the actual. Let me see. I want to see if it does. I'll do a sample of it. You guys have to talk too, though.
Do it right now. Yeah, I'll
Do it.
keep talking.
What do you want me to say? I don't want to talk.
Are you doing it like this very minute? Is it happening?
Yeah, right now I'm doing it.
I
What do you-
feeling kind of violated. What do you want to say now?
Well, I've got 10 seconds in, so that should do it. So it says finalizing my call recording. And it's gone.
That's avoid legal snags by telling people they're being recorded. That's fun. You're being recorded.
John, do you know there's a new feature on Skype as well? If you right-click on your camera, you can blur your background. Do you see that in yours?
Now you tell me.
Well, I don't see it on my desktop version, but I see it on my laptop version, and they're supposed to be the same version.
I do not see that at all.
You don't see it? What if it's the type of camera you have? So if I, yours does it?
Yeah.
I'm going to implement it. Because it was working pretty good on my laptop.
It doesn't like my camera arm.
So let me stop sharing my back. Oh, there you go. There it is. Yeah, it does a good job on yours as well. Yeah,
I need to figure out where Skype saves its files.
Desktop downloads. I don't know.
Where did you find that at?
What's that? The blur?
Yeah.
If you right-click on your webcam self, you can just set it there.
I don't see that. I see my camera, turn video off, and mute microphone.
Yeah, I don't know why you have it. Don't have it.
That's all I have as well. But I have it on my laptop for some reason. I like stop sharing. So over here, I have this one. I can right click and turn on blur. It does a really good job at outlining you. I know people on the stream can't see this because I don't have this going to the stream, but moving around. Ooh. I really want this now. I wonder if I have to restart. And I'm on the exact same version of Skype on both my laptop and desktop, so I don't know what the difference is. I don't know.
Oh, there's the recording.
Where was it?
It's in the chat.
It's in our chat? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Yeah, it is.
Wow, that's totally usable.
What are all these? Oh, it even records the video. That's weird.
That's totally usable, though.
Is it? Well, then start recording next week. I mean, only one of us has to do it, so start recording.
Yeah.
Well, but the problem is you're not going to have separate streams, though. It'll all just be one stream.
Oh, that's true.
That's what the issue is. Because that's what we used to do when we recorded. When we used to just go through Hangouts. I would record everything into a combined stream for a backup. So it's
Hangouts had much better audio too.
Right, it's still a good backup recording to have. I mean, otherwise you got to strip the audio from YouTube. But you still only have one stream, so if you have to do a lot of editing, that doesn't really do anything for you.
This seems like such an unfilled area of need.
Why don't you go here?
I don't have your file, Eric.
I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting to get the folder from
you need to turn your sync on.
I did. Turned it back on. Just takes forever. So I'll get it to you here. Trying to be patient. All right. I guess I'll kill the stream. Are we done We done chatting, guys?
Yeah, thank you to all our listeners.
Hey, did the Discord update? Oh, nobody said anything in Discord, so just the bot posted. Let me see something. Maybe everyone. Yeah, see that? I did a new Discord overlay, and it still doesn't update in real time like it used to. I don't know why that is. Weird. All right. Well, good night to everybody who might be still watching. We're gonna stop the stream now.